What is going on? Welcome everybody to another episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast. And we got some good news. We finally got some good news. Thank you everybody for joining the stream. It's kind of an off-season special thing we're doing here, right? Swish League is going on, but today obviously the white smoke appeared above the Pac-12 or was it the Texas State campus? I'm not sure. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for joining the stream. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button before you do anything. Doesn't cost you $1. Of course, I am Mateo. You can find me at Mateo San Diego on X, Sons of Montezuma, all over social media. And of course, you guys know him. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. What's up, SD Sports Fiend?
How's it going, man? Some good news today. I'm really excited. Looking forward to the new pack.
Yeah, I know you were excited. If you guys were staying plugged in on our socials, you guys were seeing a lot of the artistry that Sons of Monty loves to put on display out there. If you don't know what we're talking about, today's a big day for the Pac-12, but we're still in the Mountain West for another season, another year.
Are we? Are we really?
Well, gotta be. Yeah, but the Pac-12 they struck back. They struck back. You guys, you know what I'm talking about? Let's take a look. Oh boy, it was that kind of a morning, Fiend. The Pac-12 struck back, and we got to deal with the consequences. Though Mountain West one more year. Of course, everybody knows Texas State is now part of the Pac-12. Something we've all been. It's like the worst kept secret for maybe the last couple of weeks, right? I think dialing back the last few months, there was all the rumors and just the projections of what's going to happen. And today, over the weekend, we knew this was going to happen. All the reports last week. Make sure you guys check out that article. If you love it or hate it, Texas State's coming, and now they are here officially. I want to get into it all because nobody started in the Pac-12 other than Oregon State and Washington State. They're the two holdovers, right? So all of us Mountain West teams that have been carried over and left the Mountain West behind for the future and are in the Pac-12. We haven't played each other yet in this new conference officially, right? It's good news. It feels good. There's a lot of mixed reviews amongst Aztec Nation on the Mesa. It's a hit or a miss. Depends on who you're asking. But what was your initial thoughts, Fiend, when you saw official, we're going to be in a conference that's going to survive, right?
Yeah, no, definitely excitement. I think some relief too, just because of how we got left at the altar by the Pac-12. A couple of years ago, we thought we were getting into the big Pac-12, and then it all fell apart. So you just never know. And it came down to the wire. We had to get these guys in today because tomorrow that exit fee goes from $5 million to $10 million. A lot more expensive. So glad we got them in. I think they're a really good fit for what we want to do. And I just like the potential of, and I like the facilities. There's a lot to like about Texas State. So I'm really, really excited about it. I guess people are still, wanting Memphis or Tulane or some of the bigger names, right? And why are you digging into the Sun Belt, to bring someone into your conference? But there's a lot of upside about Texas State. We talked about it on a previous podcast. And so for me personally, I'm really excited about the move.
Like we just stuck our hand down in the Sun Belt grab bag and just like, oh, look what we got. Look what we got here. We got some Bobcats. Let's talk a little bit about the Bobcats. We're going to get into the pros and the cons, but let's talk a little bit about it. I saw Ziegler had an article. I did some research. Obviously we want to see who is Texas State that's going to be joining San Diego State, Colorado State, Utah State, Boise State. Who am I missing here? Washington State, Oregon State. It's Pac State. Pac State Conference. It is what it
And
is.
Gonzaga.
Gonzaga, okay, basketball. But San Marcos is the city where Texas State is at, right?
Let me
Everybody.
stop you right there.
Oh,
It's not pronounced San Marcos. It's Sam Marcus.
San Marcos.
Yeah,
Is that the Texas swing?
that is how they pronounce it. It's Sam Marcus. Yeah,
I mean, we got a San Marcos here in San Diego,
they
so
they pronounce everything a little different there. It's a little, it's a
San
little different.
Marcos. San
Yeah.
Marcos. You got an emphasis on the San Marcos.
But anyway, I didn't want to interrupt you there. Sorry about that.
No,
Just
hey,
felt like I needed to put that out there. Trying to show respect to our new brothers and sisters of the Pac-12.
it's like Boise isn't Boise, it's Boise, right? Kind of similar. Boise, not Boise.
I thought it was donkeys. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so they are in San Marcos. It's midpoint between San Antonio and Austin. And I'll tell you what, when we were looking at this whole expansion thing, I thought for sure if we were going to dip our toes into the Pac-12 was going to dip their toes into Texas. I thought for sure it was going to be UTSA. I thought for sure it was going to be the Road Runners, but hey, they got to wait another day. They got to play football a little longer, I guess, right?
Well, the situation that they're in with the AAC, it's a very long wait to get into another conference there. I think you got to give 27 months notice, which is just ridiculous. And it goes, if you don't, then it's goes from $10 million up to $25 million. So it was really prohibitive to take anyone at this point from the AAC, and UTSA really, when you compare them to Texas State and the value that they bring and the facilities, I think Texas State's just a better option for us. And so,
well, Texas State's been playing for a while. I mean, the school started around the same time as San Diego State. I want to say they started playing football earlier than we did, 1903, 1904. So, but they've always been on the outside. Just football has never really been. I mean, football is king in Texas, but Texas State has never really been. They won a couple Division II natties. I want to say, just similar to San Diego State. But I'll tell you this, man. When I saw that their stadium, like you want to talk about facilities, holds 30,000, Bobcat Stadium, I guess is what it's called, the Bobcats. That's pretty solid. They're one of the biggest schools in the state, right? Nearing 40,000, 40K enrollment or so. And then check this out. Their AD's name is Don Coryell. So the great legendary coach Don Coryell from San Diego State, of course, Chargers fame as well. Hall of Fame.
No relation, though.
No relation. So, I mean, but, you connect the dots. It's like, okay, this is perking my interest up a little bit with Texas State, getting to know what they're about. Of course, when we were looking for our head coach, Sean Lewis, I know James had brought up GJ Kinney. Is that how you say his name? GJ Kinney? Their head coach, and he's done a remarkable job down over there. Really turned their program around, and he was a name that we put out there. So I know he's very well respected. Of course, he's a Texas guy. But like I said, just not the most success in the last few decades. So, you look at who they are and you look at the pick. It's like they're really in the best place at the right time. Obviously, they weren't the first choice. You mentioned Memphis already. I don't even think Memphis per se was. I think they probably wanted to bring over the Pac-12 wanted to bring over some more Mountain West teams like a UNLV. Of course, they didn't want anything to do with it. But I think under the circumstances, there's a lot to like about Texas State, despite the on the field success or lack thereof. The numbers of the university, R1 Institute coming up. There's a lot to look forward to. So what are the other things that you like about Texas State, Fiend? And maybe I'll try to bum you down and try to talk you down for some of those negative Nancy's out there.
Well, I mean, I've talked about it before. The facilities. They have a 10,000 seat basketball stadium. They have a softball stadium that's nicer than our softball stadium. I would say, for looking at their athletic facilities, they are one of the top teams in the new Pac-12. for facilities. If you look at the basketball, football, softball, baseball, I mean, all those facilities, plus they've got a performance center. They had a major renovation to their one of the end zones. I don't know which one, but at their stadium. I mean, they've just pumped a lot of money into their athletic facilities. They are investing. They're paying their football coach. I don't know exactly what the contract is, but it's like comparable to like a P5 program, right? So that if he leaves, you're going to bring in someone else. And if he goes to a bigger conference, you're bringing in someone that you can afford to pay a lot of money for and bring in a great coach. They want to have great football in Texas State. Now the basketball has been a whole nother thing. The facilities are there. There's a lot of potential, but they have not, been a winning team. But I think it all starts with leadership, honestly. Okay. And I think this change in leadership that they had with Kelly, and again, weird name to pronounce. I think it's Dampus. It you would think it would be pronounced Damp House. I think it's Kelly Dampus. And then you mentioned Don Coryell. Those two combined with their donor base, the people who have donated a lot of money to upgrade the facilities, they've really invested in their athletics programs, in the university. They've made this push, and it hasn't just happened overnight. They started this like 10 years ago at least. So this, where they're at today is they've just been building and the right place, right time, and they're seizing the opportunity that's been given to them. But kudos to them. I love their leadership. I think they're really salt of the earth, down to earth people. You sent us the podcast that they went on. You had the AD and the president go on a podcast. We're not talking about like local media. They're not like official media partners of Texas State. I mean, would San Diego State ever do that for us? I mean, I doubt it. But that's what I really love about them, is that they really try to connect with their fans, and they're just genuine, down to earth people. And I think that is attractive. And they've, like you said, they've got a huge student body, a lot of alumni, and so they're really jacked up that they're in the Pac-12.
A couple things there, because you laid a lot there on the line. So about those podcasts, if any of you guys, all you Aztec fans, if you guys want to get to know a little bit more about Texas State, they've got a couple of really good podcasts I checked out the last few days. I want to say Win Now or Get Bent. Win Now or Get Bent. That's a pretty solid podcast. He gets into some deep dives on some pretty good specifics. And then there's Squaring Around, a Texas State sports podcast.
They're the ones who had Dampus and Corey.
They both did actually. So I mean, that tells you, like you said, that leadership, they're willing to get out there, engage with the fans, talk with their base, and really reach across that divide. Of course, I think all those guys on the podcast, they are media credentialed and whatnot. So there's a different mentality, and I think that's kind of the thing I like about Texas State when I'm seeing from a big picture. They have fun. It's a Texas school. They're all about sports. They're all about football. The stadium, when it comes to the coaching, the leadership, I mean, the way they're dealing with their fans, they're voted the #1 college town in Texas, and that's some big competition. I mean, you're talking about big timers like UT, you're talking about TCU, you're talking about Texas Tech. I mean, all over the state, there's like 12 or 13 D1 programs there, and they're taking that first place as far as like a college town, party town, right? Seen some videos of them, so there's a lot to say there. They're really building that program around having fun, not so up to the buttoned up to the vest or whatever you want to say. I can appreciate that. Going back to GJ Kinney, he was, I want to say, the highest paid coach in the Sun Belt. And they're shelling out. I want to say the contract was maybe about $2 million a year, which is solid. I mean, Sunbelt. Let's talk about it, because the media deal is the biggest thing I think in the last week leading up to this. The Pac-12 signed a new media deal with CBS Sports Network, and Paramount Network to do some of those games as well. It's the anchor deal, right? There's more to come, hopefully, but that's the big one. Texas State, they've got to be feeling so good about making this jump. The Sun Belt, I want to say their payout was probably about $2 million.
Yeah.
You're talking about going from $2 million to the projections is what, 7 to 10 mil, I want to say, give or take,
Which
with the
we don't
Pac-12.
think.
That's a huge jump, Fiend. That's a huge jump. I mean, you talk about how we felt, San Diego State felt when we were originally going to make that Pac-12 jump. I mean, you're talking about a big leap here financially. So that $2 million that they're paying their head coach, that's going to go a long, long, long ways.
Yeah, they're not going to get a full bowl of soup,
Full
like
bowl.
the a full bowl of soup.
They're not gonna be smoking a full bowl.
But the president said they're getting enough, so I'm sure they're getting a good share, not a full share, which is I think the right way to do this, and I congratulate the PAC for continuing to negotiate. We were all like, why don't they add Texas State now? They probably used another school as leverage, and they were able to negotiate not a full share. So, because
how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? I mean, at least for a few years.
We don't know the full details of the contract, or
right.
But I think it's a prove it to us, and that's the way it should be when you're moving up from a much lower conference to a bigger conference. And so
that's interesting, man. That's interesting. I mean, because Pac-12, let's face it, they were in a pretty desperate spot here. I mean, you weren't going to go out there and give Memphis their buyout. That's just ridiculous amounts of money to get out of AAC. So who were you going to UNLV was locked in now with the Mountain West. I mean, who realistically was the other option, Fiend? Really, who was out there? I've seen New Mexico State name being drawn out there. Sam Houston. I saw
Sacramento State. Yeah, I don't know who they used as leverage, but
to those of you saying we kept putting Sacramento State out there, I know. we weren't saying they were a viable option, but I mean, credit to Sacramento State. They put their name out there in the national media. They put on a full out blitz to even just get their name mentioned in the media for this thing. They're on the rise, and politically California wants them to ascend. It's just not their time. They're not ready yet.
They don't have the facilities yet. I mean, it was that was all smoke.
All smoke. What's going on, T-Mac? Thank you for joining us, man. I got to give you your super, man. Thank you so much. T-Mac says, salute, gentlemen, and hopefully our football program will be good again in the Pac-12, tired of bad seasons. I know, man. I know. I get it. Okay, let's build off of this super. Thank you again, T-Mac, for the super. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys been enjoying the Swish League basketball. I know it's off season. Swish League last night, Fiend, tremendous job. But T-Mac says, football, good again in the Pac-12. Now, why I want to elaborate on this in terms of football, Fiend, is because Texas has been good to San Diego State, football-wise. I mean, you talk about recruiting under Rocky Long, a lot of different Aztecs coming in from the state of Texas. We went to the Final Four 2 years ago. They're in Houston. I'm wearing my Republic boot company shirt, man. I mean, Texas was good to San Diego State. So now having Texas State in there, hopefully those pipelines continue to grow a little bit more. I'm sure they're wanting the same thing, bring some Cali kids out there and see how they like San Marcos. But I think it's going to help football. I think it's really going to help football all around tremendously, just with the brand of football they play out there, with the excitement, the love, the passion that they play with out there. Hopefully it rubs off and just, fuels a little bit more. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a talent-rich state, and you look at some of the programs. I mean, down to, North Texas, and you mentioned Sam Houston State. I mean, some of these smaller schools, get some pretty good recruits to come, to their programs, and I think it's really helping Texas State. I think they're going to out-recruit UTSA, North Texas, and those schools from the AAC moving into the Pac-12. But I think, you could see some residual effects with San Diego State now. Kids from Texas want to come to the West Coast, but still want their families to be able to watch some games, and
Yeah.
so I think that could be a real possibility. We had great recruiting ties with Jeff Horton, Coach Horton, to Texas, and so I don't know with the current staff how much they are invested in Texas. Maybe this will, you
They're
know,
going to now. They're going to
yeah,
now. I'll
maybe
tell
they're
you
going.
that.
Yeah, exactly. So can't hurt. I mean, you've got some great talent there. So why not try to pluck some kids out of Texas and bring them to the West Coast?
As you look at the map, the new Pac-12 map, and thank you again, T Mac. He says he's a Texas native. So, man, the barbecue out there, I can't wait for those roadies in San Marcos. You're talking about Austin, the best barbecue. I'm not too familiar. Houston was great, but I'm sure Austin's good.
Yeah. No, I mean all over Texas is barbecue is like in my family's DNA. Like my cousin, rest in peace, he was California champion couple years in a row. He went to the Jack Daniel's Invitationals, real coveted, barbecue championship in Tennessee. And so I love barbecue. It's a passion of mine. I love cooking it. I'm really excited to get out there and sample some of the different barbecues. I've been to Austin before. I've had some fantastic barbecue there. So maybe I'm a little biased towards Texas State just because of the barbecue, but I'm really excited to get out there and try some of that.
All right, I see some suggestions of Texas barbecue to go check out there. I like it. So as we're looking at the map here, all the teams, it truly is a Pac-12, a Pacific centric conference. Now, being in Texas is great. I think it shows, the desire to grow and not be rigid. The old Pac-12. Come on, the old original Pac-12, the big Pac-12. Let's be honest, they were wanting to get this done for decades. They wanted UT and possibly Oklahoma to jump in the Pac-12, and it just never happened. The money, I don't think, was enough. The timing wasn't right. Now, okay, this revamped Pac-12, this new Pac-12 is making it happen. But when you look at this map, who do you think, in all things considered, football, basketball, softball, baseball, all those sports that are just going to be very competitive, who do you think is going to be Texas State's rival when you look at the Pac-12?
It's funny that you mentioned that because I was just thinking about that before the show. And what I think is we're still going to have our rivalry with Fresno State, right? Especially in football. I mean, that's we're natural rivals. I think Boise State,
no barking.
No barking. I mean, obviously, Oregon State and Washington State, they're rivals, in all sports. I think Boise State and Utah State, there's a rivalry there, border.
Yeah.
Colorado State, had the rivalry with Wyoming. Now that's gone. So I could really see Texas State and Colorado State developing a rivalry going into the Pac-12.
Okay. Any specific reason for that?
I think just the proximity, they're close. It's close to school to Texas State. The fact that neither one of them really have a rival. I mean, we'll see, if something else develops, but I could see that being it's new, but I could see that being developing as a rivalry.
All right. Now, JK says Utah State. I want to know why, though. And French Toast Mafia, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show. We're excited. We're excited to have Texas State in. Obviously, like we said, it's not the first choice for us Pac-12ers, but, we're all part of the same thing now. I will say this, though, and I said it in our text messages, Fiend. The whole back-to-pack thing, I get it. I know. Right now, we're all united. We're all united. We're all friends, and no games have been played yet. Exactly. Everybody's back to pack, hyping each other up, everything. We're trying to make the best of it. I get it. But I'm kind of sick of it, man. I'm kind of sick of it. I'm ready for some games to get going. I'm ready for some games. I love it. And I'll tell you this. Look, you don't think one of these schools in here, if they get a shot at the Big 12, the Big 10, a bigger conference, they're going to jump in a second. There's no loyalty here. There never has been. There never will be.
There's no loyalty anywhere, though. I mean, Look at UNLV is going to jump as soon as they can from the Mountain West if they get it. All these schools in the G5, they're all wanting to move up into a bigger conference, bigger payouts. That's just the way it is,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's kind of like NIL, where it's like 1 year at a time, right? Is there any loyalty now in basketball and football with NIL and free transfers? No. So it's not your old like landscape of college football and basketball, right? Where you have these like ingrained traditional rivalries that never change and you can count on them, right? And so it's a fluid situation, and I'm just hopeful that we can keep this thing together. We'll see what happens when the ACC, I think it's the ACC, their contract comes up.
Mm. They
That
keep
could
saying,
shake
well,
up a lot of stuff, right?
they keep saying, was it Miami, Florida State to the Big Ten?
Right.
Something of those. I've been seeing that rumor out
Yeah,
there.
and then do the teams that are in the ACC like Cal and Stanford, do they come back to the West Coast? There's just a lot of unknown,
Sure.
and so you just got to go with the flow.
It is an interesting choice. From what I understand, Texas State it's a pretty diverse area, diverse college. Very as far as ethnicity, the whole
The
gamut. I mean,
the
it's very
demographic, I
mixed.
will say, is very
Yeah,
similar to San Diego State,
yeah,
right? You have a
yeah.
large Hispanic student body,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
and really with the rest of the schools, maybe not so much Fresno State, but Colorado State, Utah State, Boise State, Oregon State, Washington State. I mean, predominantly white, right? So it's not as much
Right.
diversity. I mean, maybe you have some Asian with Oregon State, Washington State, but there's going to be a large, we both our schools have a very large, Hispanic student body, and that's a
It
big part of the culture. It's a big part of the identity of each school, and so I could see how we could kind of relate to each other in that.
Yeah, it may not be that big of a shock, I guess you would say,
Right.
right? Or just things along that nature. So honestly, I could see San Diego State and Texas State becoming a rivalry. You get a bad game or two. All I keep hearing from Texas State guys, their fans and their podcasters is they want to go to San Diego. They want to come to San Diego, right? Of course, who wouldn't? When you look at the map on all those teams in the Pac-12, it's the destination. Of course,
Yeah.
you're gonna pay for it when you come out in more ways than one. But
Right.
I think there could be something there. There could be something there.
It's gonna be fun, like to have them come by the tailgate and celebrate, and
We'll
when
see.
we go
We'll see.
there, and so
Just don't go to Fresno, guys. Don't go to Fresno. Just don't do it. Say no. Don't party. Don't party with the dogs out there. Don't do it. Okay. We've been shining this. To some people may say it's a turd. There's some out there in Aztec land are not happy. They're not happy about it. They're not impressed. They're not seeing the glass half full. So let's be real, Fiend. Let's keep it real. We gotta keep it 100. Sons of Monty, we don't. That's what we do. What's there not to like about Texas State in this decision? What is there not to be excited about? We're not trying to rain on nobody's parade, but hey, look, this wasn't This wasn't the optimal choice. This wasn't the first choice. Of course, a lot of people still want Memphis, like we were saying. I mean, from bold sports, Memphis is far and away a more desirable get. It's just not going to happen though. What
I,
in
s-
your
I
mind?
I think they're a great ad, but I could see how the image, because they don't have the history
Mm-hmm.
of success, of sort of prestige. They're an up and coming university. I could see how maybe people who around the country, when they see Texas State is playing San Diego State or Boise State, they still think Sun Belt, and so maybe that's going to take some time for them to win people over and to prove that they are worthy of the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
So that would really be, I think, the only drawback that I can think of. I mean, obviously basketball, you'd like to have a little more success in basketball. They're not bad. They're not terrible like Air Force or even Fresno State has been. And the potential is there, but they just don't have the success. And someone mentioned that yes, they have a 10,000 seat stadium, but they're most people they've had at a game is 6,000. Can that change? Sure. Will it change? I don't know, you know. And so I guess there's some, maybe some, obviously if you had Memphis, gosh, football, basketball, I mean, that really elevates the whole image of the Pac-12. And not only that, but we're getting more money because they're in the conference, right? And so it's a win-win situation, but it's just not, it wasn't realistic.
I'm seeing in the chat their concern, SDSU Aztec, thank you, says, my concern is they have more resources than SDSU and should be able to recruit well. I wrote the article last week, hate it or love it, they're coming, right? They're joining the Pac-12. And one of the comparisons I made was TCU. And I feel like it really fits. Maybe not as much as TCU, but maybe it does. This is a big university in a prime location. You look at pretty much every state with a big university, whether it's North Carolina, you got North Carolina State. Texas is a huge state. You got UT, you got Texas State, but it's a state school, right? So the resources are different than I would imagine. But I kind of compare it to like a TCU where they're just, very, very underrated. And look at TCU's basketball back in those days. When they were in the Mountain West, they were garbage. And I don't think they're really much better, right, Fiend? I don't think they really are these days.
They've been to the tournament, but the Big 12 is just so competitive, right? Like,
yeah,
it's very hard to win in the Big 12, and it's just night in, night out. It's a gauntlet that you run. I think that more of the concern would be, that we watch Texas State, we bring them up, right? Like we groom them, and then they launch ahead of us into like the Big 12 or some bigger conference, right? And use us as a stepping stone. I guess that could be a concern, and would feel pretty bad, right, for us if we were to get left behind because we elevated a program that's in a prime location, growing area. But let me bring up one more downside. Okay.
Yeah.
Is the Texas market for viewership too saturated?
I was just about to hit on something like that. I don't know the inner workings of the politics in Texas, but you said it like, what if they leapfrog, go to like a Big 12? But I don't know how those TCUs and Texas Techs and Baylors of the world, how do they view Texas State? I don't know how they view them. They probably never really. Yeah, they probably never.
12, like USC blocked us, and UCLA blocked us from getting into the Pac-12. So
state school mentality, right? Yeah, I don't know how the TV will work on that. I mean, that was always a head scratcher to me. If they're in between San Antonio and Austin, it's kind of like 20 minutes, 30 minutes away. How does that work? How do they even carve out a niche? But they just have so many alumni, I guess. Maybe it works in that ways.
Yeah, they said that there's 9 out of 10 Texas State alums live in the state of Texas. I don't know how many, 225,000 alums, I think, that live around there or in that area. So they've got quite a few, obviously, and they're young too. That's the thing, the demographic of them. They're very young. I think half of their alums are like under 40.
Yeah. Bobcat Josh says Texas isn't quite the hotbed for basketball recruiting that Cal is. That's for sure. But it should rub off mutually. It should be a reciprocal type of thing, right? Football, basketball. There's pros and cons to everything. I think baseball, softball, those sports are going to be electric. You get some of that talent out there in Texas. Get with some of the talent out here in Cali. It's going to be electric. So, yeah, buddy, I'm excited. I think maybe the last con for me. Oh man. Who are we going to pick up next? Does adding Texas State make it more attractive to bring in other surrounding teams as maybe travel partners? Maybe UTSA isn't completely out of the running. Maybe Memphis joins at a later time. Maybe UNLV out of this mediation joins in. But, how does that affect adding in another team? How does that work? Is another team that hopefully wants to come in, does the Pac-12 want to slice the pie even more, or do they just say, hey, we're good right now, let's settle this, let's start collecting some checks? I know Andy was talking about St. Mary's. We can get on that. What do you got, Fiend? What do you got?
No, I was just gonna say JK is saying Reno. There's no way in hell that Reno's coming to the Pac-12.
JK, I saw you earlier. You want me to discuss about Reno? We're gonna miss him.
Sorry, Cody.
We're gonna miss Cody. Sorry about that, dude. Keep it funky, bro. Keep it funky. But we'll have our correspondent out there, our Reno correspondent, Mike, Mr. Mike Tortolat. He couldn't be with us tonight. Maybe next time. But yeah. Oh, Reno. At least they're gonna build a new arena right there, right? It's supposed to be a bigger.
They need major upgrades. Maybe. I mean, they're one of the, when you look at Texas State's facilities compared to, say, like New Mexico, I mean, we looked at their football stadium. It looks like it's crumbling.
Yeah.
And then Reno's got some really bad facilities, and so I'm kind of glad that we're leaving them behind, and we're grabbing someone, the shiny new car, right? The more attractive girlfriend. So I think it's a good move for us.
Last word on Reno. I still want to go there this season on a roadie. If anybody wants to go, I don't even think Mike's gonna be in town. He's like, probably not gonna be in town. I just don't think he wants to go to the game.
Football or basketball?
Football. I've always wanted to go to that football game ever since the scare money
should still be under the bridge. I think there though.
Go looking for Batman. Okay, Bobcat Josh. We gotta let the guests get their say a little bit, guys. Hope you guys don't mind. But Bobcat Josh says, I think UTSA would jump if they could afford to. It's the second biggest in-state rivalry behind the Longhorns and the Aggies. Okay, all right.
Yeah, there is a huge rivalry there, definitely. And so that would be, for travel partner, would be great for them.
Mm-hmm.
Have another school in Texas. Stronger foothold in Texas for the conference. And
shout out
rivalry that they have. I think that's a great fit.
We got a chance to beat UTSA in the bowl game a couple years back. Shout out to Alamo Audible. I believe I want to remember. Really cool pod out there. If you guys ever like to give a listen. Rivalry to Texas State. Well, we'll see. You never know. I mean, in another couple years, this media deal only lasts till 2031. So we only got so many years before the next shakeup is going to happen.
The good thing with thinking about other schools that potentially could join, we can take our time now, right? There was a window here. If we didn't make this move now, these exit fees double, right? And Texas State's really the only viable option that we have for next year, next July 1st, right? And so we had to get them. And now that we've done that, and now we are an FBS conference because we have 8 full members, now we can take our time and we can court, the prettier bride or whatever you want to call it, to come to the Pac-12. So we do have some time.
Any word on St. Mary's joining basketball only, right? Or all sports? I don't know. They don't have football. So.
I would say if you're going to bring them in, definitely they're not getting a full share. I mean, you're getting maybe a half share. I know they won't like that compared to Gonzaga, but I'm sorry, they don't have the brand that Gonzaga has. And Gonzaga has been to how many Sweet 16s in the last 10 years? I mean, it seems like they're there every single year. 2 national championship games. Yeah, I feel like they deserve a full share, but St. Mary's, you're going to have to bring them in at a discount.
Gotcha. Fiend, we'll get into some more comments in just a sec, and then we're going to get into some Swish League after that. But guys, right now, I just want to take a quick moment of your time. Make sure you guys are checking out the online shop. Of course, sonsomontezuma.com. We have our online shop available with all the creative Aztec-inspired gear. Definitely want to check out, maybe get some kicks. You gotta get some kicks or some flip-flops here for the summer, man.
I need some new gear. I gotta get on there.
Yeah, we gotta get some more things going. We gotta get some more tees out there. I know I seen somebody with the In Dutch We Trust tee at the Swish League this past weekend, which was really always cool to see that. So definitely check out the styles, guys. We got a couple select new tees in there. Try to keep it fully stocked. And I know when football season gets closer and closer, we'll have some more gear. We'll have maybe some workout gear. Maybe some stuff you could take to the gym and whatnot.
Some NIL signings.
Oh man, that'd be dope. We still got a lot of stuff for Bird, of course, Goon Squad. You can't ignore Goon Squad, man. I was wearing mine. I was ripping mine this past weekend. But save 15% off, guys, right now with the promo code Monty. Get yourself a pint or some koozies, whatever you want, man. Whatever you want. You guys got it. And if you guys have any requests, designs you guys want to see, let me know. Let me know. We'll make it happen. We will make it happen for sure. Okay. Let's get into a couple more comments because I know we kind of went on our whole soapbox to start this thing. We're trying to, we got to get it out there, man. We've been holding. We haven't had an episode all month. I think maybe once earlier this month. We've been crazy busy at the Switch League, though, guys. So put a little plug in on that every Sunday. If you guys are local here in San Diego, come check us out down at Lincoln High. The Pro-Am, Switch League Pro-Am. We had some crazy games already.
I'm really interested to see the new Mountain West deal. That the Gloria came out and said, "Oh, we should have a deal soon." We've heard that before, right? But it's interesting with CBS taking CBS as the main media partner for the Pac-12. What does that do for the Mountain West? Because I doubt CBS is going to really want to do much with them, if anything.
CW, right? TNT. I mean, some of the other names that have been in talks as far as our
Fox. I mean, I don't know. I mean, and we still don't know the full picture of the media deal with the Pac-12. And so right. I've heard some rumblings about ESPN possibly for the Mountain West, but I think what's going to happen with that is they're going to have a lot of games on ESPN Plus, and so you're going to have to pay a subscription to watch that, or they're going to have to play a lot more of their games during the week.
Kind of like a Maction, little Maction action.
Yeah, those windows. I mean, they get good viewership because they're the only game in town, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that the Mountain West with their product can really go up against the Pac-12 teams by and large. I mean, maybe UNLV, Air Force, but I don't think that they can really go up and match the Pac-12 in the same windows. And so I think they're going to have to play either more games or they're going to have to take less money and be on a streaming service like ESPN Plus.
Well, I was pretty curious when Northern Illinois made that decision, because I mean, I'm looking at the Mountain West now. It's essentially like the MAC. I feel like they've been relegated now down to be like the MAC. I mean, so making that move, it's such a lateral move. Maybe just because the new media deal is coming up, and jump ship now, maybe you get a higher payday. I don't know. I really don't understand what that move was all about. Is exposure? Well, we'll see with the media deal, but I think they're going to end up similar type of thing, like what you're saying, playing on a Wednesday or a Thursday or something of that nature.
Yeah, I don't know why NIU jumped. I mean, it gives the Mountain West Central Time Zone, which is nice, and gives them.
And they're nice. NIU's nice. We got them this year in DeKalb, dude. That's gonna be tough.
My dad is a grad of NIU. He got his master's degree there, so he's a huge NIU fan. I know all about NIU, and they're but it is a little curious, why they made that move to the Mountain West now. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see, what'd you guys say here in the chat? Okay.
More like the WAC, not the old WAC. I would say more like the new WAC. T-Mac is saying that the Mountain West is more like the WAC. No, not back in the day.
Yeah, that back in the day WAC was. I mean, you had Utah in there, you had BYU in there. I mean, it was special, man. It was special. Garbage Mountain Conference. Is that what we're saying? Garbage Mountain, JK. We stooping to that level, JK. Is that what we're doing tonight? Okay, that's what we're doing tonight. Garbage Mountain. Oh boy. That 50% revenue sharing will be huge for SDSU for our tournament units.
Yes. Yeah, and that's another thing is that with being more competitive in basketball and football, you're not going to have the bottom feeders like we had in the Mountain West that really didn't have much incentive to pour money into their facilities to find creative ways to be, competitive and to build their brand. And we're saying goodbye to those. And so this is going to be, I think, more profitable. Yes, we're putting some more money up front in the exit fees. It's going to cost some money up front, but I think it's going to be worth it if we're in this conference for the next 6-7 years, maybe beyond. We'll see what happens at the end of the terms. But I think that this is a good situation for us, and will be profitable. It's kind of like a business where you got to put money up first, right? And then you derive a profit later. And so I kind of feel like we're investing. We've all invested, and I just love it. And I love back the pack. I do. I don't want to get back on that soapbox, but I like how we've all been united throughout this process. You've not heard one peep of any of these schools wanting to backtrack to go back to the Mountain West, and I think it's fantastic. And that's what was needed to get this deal done and to be at where we're at today with 8 teams and an FBS conference.
Oh, everybody's feeling good. That's for sure. Nobody's feeling as good as Texas State right now. Am I right, Fiend? Am I right? Nobody's feeling this good. Nobody's feeling this good. Pac-12 came in and just brightened their day. Who makes this stuff? Good Lord. Who put this out there? Good Lord.
A half bowl of soup.
Half bowls of soup.
It's Coriel.
That's Coriel riding that tricycle.
Yeah.
That was going on. Oh Lord. Okay, Andrew, what's going on, man? It's good to see you in the chat. It says prediction for basketball and football doormats in the new Pac-12. Oh. Do we got to bring up? We got to bring up the map again for this one. Got to bring up the map. Okay. Basketball and football doormats. We're talking about competition-wise here.
I mean, basketball's got to be Fresno State.
Oh yeah. I don't see that thing
Absolutely.
turning around anytime soon.
And I would
they
think
don't care
Texas
about it.
State initially would be one of the doormats too.
Texas State, yeah. I mean, basketball-wise, this conference is gonna be a ridiculous. Filthy conference.
Yeah.
I mean, Gonzaga just put it way over the top. Way over the top. Oregon State, Washington State. I mean, Washington State's had some solid years. So has Oregon State.
Oregon State went to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
They've had some down years too.
Yeah, as we all have. But yeah, I agree. Fresno or Texas is going to be your doormats in hoops. Man, football.
We better get our act together. I tell you what, this whole situation, it's been really hard to see these predictions of like the rankings for football, and we're always at the bottom. And like people, we had that string of success under Rocky Long. We went to so many bowl games, conference championships. I mean, and now in a quick couple of years, now we're like a doormat. And so that's frustrating as a fan. And Sean Lewis got to turn this ship around. Like, he has to turn this around.
The recruiting trail has been heating up these last 2 weeks. It's just been like one commit after another for 2026, I want to say. So that's been a real positive thing. I think I've seen a lot out there trying to do my research on some of these guys, right? So that's been encouraging. And, we got to get into football pods pretty soon. I got to get K5 in here. I know he's been got a crazy schedule these days. But if you guys are keeping track on the website, we've been putting out our top football players to keep an eye on this season coming up. And the more I study up on each one, man, the more I'm getting a little hyped. I mean, this team is going to be a lot better than it was last year defensively, I believe. Everybody came back. Pretty much everybody is coming back on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
So there's a lot
Trey
to be.
White back was massive.
Oh yeah, Trey White. I mean, anchors that defensive line. The secondary is loaded. Linebackers should be stout again. So but it's all comes down to the offense. All comes down to the offense. which a lot of questions, but we're gonna find out. As far as bottom dwellers, if it's not Utah State, something is wrong. Something is wrong if it's not Utah State. I mean, every other team on the board there has
I don't
got
know, man. They got a good
facilities,
coach now, though, and
culture.
Bronco
Bronco,
Mendenhall. I
Bronco,
mean,
he's a
they've got a
motivator.
good coach.
He's experienced.
Norvell, he's at Colorado
Yeah,
State, good coach.
I
Boise
think
State's
Colorado
got
State
a good
this
coach.
year. I think Colorado State's gonna be nice this year. I really do.
It's
Fresno,
going to be tough.
it's going to be very competitive. There shouldn't be, when it comes football wise, there shouldn't be that much of a difference when it comes to all these teams. Basketball is a different story. I mean, you could turn it around quick, like what T Mac was saying, but um, some teams, some programs just don't invest in basketball like that. Football wise, all these teams, they want to win football. They all got good facilities. They pay their coaches, and they're all hungry. But if Utah State's not in last, something's wrong, man. Something's wrong. I can't have it. Can't have it. All right. Don't get me riled up. Guys, I want to thank you guys for joining the stream. It's getting a little late in the night. Unfortunately, the Padres lost, so we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that. What is the ceiling for San Diego State attendance-wise, Fiend? What is the ceiling? I mean, the thing fits, what, 40? Just under 40, 36, 37, something like that?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we're gonna have we haven't had one sellout. I mean, it's been frustrating watching the SDFC, sell out like most of their games, and just the environment. I mean, you went there to a game, and how
Yeah.
awesome it was, and
Yeah.
I mean that's what San Diego State football could be at Snapdragon Stadium. Unfortunately, I don't agree with the pricing. I think they've priced out a lot of people, and then the product on the field has not been attractive, and so those two combinations have caused it to just, I mean, really lack energy in a fantastic stadium that is absolutely beautiful, and I feel one of, if not the best stadium in the new Pac-12.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. It's definitely up there. Culture wise, San Diego's a football town, Fiend. It is. I mean, the Chargers did very well here. Don't let anybody fool you. There were a lot of fans here, longtime fans, just had a terrible owner. Just had a
We had we
terrible
had
owner.
we had good crowds when we had Pumphrey and we had Penny. I mean,
Yeah.
there was some
Yeah.
great crowds there. Obviously it's at Qualcomm's massive stadium, but they definitely would have sold out. Snapdragon would have been amazing with Penny
Yeah.
running there. So there's potential there, but you got to have the coaching and the culture. And unfortunately, I think a lot of that culture went out the door with Rocky Long. And so, Sean Lewis it's an uphill battle trying to reestablish a culture here at San Diego State, because it's radically different than what it was before, because he's more a guru of offense, so to speak, and we haven't had that. It's been all defensive focus, which I found is just really interesting with this team being so the strength of the team being defense.
They're definitely building a new culture there with Aztec football. They're trying to lay those blocks. It's those things take time, or some really big wins need to happen, right, to kind of give you that jumpstart to building that culture. But you're right. I mean, it's a brand new deal. Of course, they got the new GM in there, Caleb Davis, young guy getting that opportunity. So they're doing some different things. They're changing with the times, with the NIL era, with the new house settlement. They're trying to, beat the curve. But we'll
A
have to
lot
see.
of this falls
Got to
on the
happen on the field.
administration, though. A lot of this
Sure,
falls on
sure,
the administration to
sure.
connect better with the fans. For some reason, San Diego State basketball, yes, they win, right? But that program connects better with fans than our football program has been the last couple of years. And I attribute a lot of that to the administration and the people who are really upset with the high prices for tickets at Snapdragon and feel
Yeah.
like they're getting gouged for everything, for that entire experience. And so it's turned them off, right? And you say we're a football town, right? They should be turned on. That is the administration's fault. They need to be the ones to really be reaching out and connecting. Hell, come on our show, connect with the fans.
Hey, I can't disagree with any of that. Can't disagree with any of that. And you know, it's unfortunate because like to me, it's not a coaching thing in those terms, right? They're doing their job. They're doing what they got to do to connect, and they're doing it the best that they can. But it's there's a lot of other things culturally wise that just need to change. They need to change. They need to improve. You need to show. You
I
need
gotta
to show
say,
it
I'm
to your base.
jealous of Texas State with what they have with their AD and their, their president. I mean, they're doing it to me. They're doing it right.
Mm. Winning cures everything, SDSU Aztec says. Yeah, it's very true. Very true. Winning does cure everything. Or does it? We'll see. We'll find out. Hopefully this year. Fiend, can we switch gears to hoops just a little bit before we sign off? Because NCAA on EA, I believe they're coming out with the hoops game. It's going to come out 2028. We got to wait. We got to wait 3 long years. But, you know, I hope, this is my hope. Combine it. Men's and women's game, college game. That's probably what's going to take it even longer than what you would think it would take to turn this game around. I hope they do. I hope they combine it. You could play men's team, women's team, make it happen, right? Because NIL is involved. So, you know, you got to make it,
men's
make it equal.
Versus a women's team. Yeah.
Easy now, easy. Okay. That would be dope though. I mean, if you could play women's game and men's game in there, so everybody, you know, gets their NIL.
You take the best women's team and you play them against like the 363 KenPom team and men's basketball. That would be awesome.
You might be onto something there. Dude. Oh yeah. Let's see what else. But yeah, really excited for that game to come out. That's gonna be dope. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the
football game is dope already. So, what you said resonated, man. What you said resonated in the chat. Everybody's saying, "Yep, the AD needs to get with the times and connect a little more with the fans." Yep. So we'll see.
Wake up.
On that note, guys, we're going to shut it down. It's getting a little late, but we want to thank you guys so much for joining us. We're excited. Hope you guys are excited too. Texas State becomes the 9th team in the Pac-12. Are they going to rename it to Pac-10? Hopefully they do that. I think they should do
Pac-9,
that.
I think, right?
When they get a when they get a 10th team. I mean, Pac-10 just sounds great. Got to do it. 8th football team, but 9th team overall. Of course, Gonzaga. So we're excited. There's pros and cons, but you know what? Just got to keep moving forward, keep looking up, and be the best that you can be. Yeah, you got to be the best. Got to be the best that you can be at this thing. So we're looking forward to it, guys. Check out Swish League. Of course, 4th of July weekend is here, so there's no games on Thursday, but Sunday we'll be picking it back up at Lincoln. Come on down to the gym. It's a great time. We see us down there.
Ball.
A lot of good ball, local ball, guys from overseas. The Navy team we just saw, a team made up of all Navy vets, man. That was special. They got to win the game, though. They got to get on the board. But, yeah, just always a great time of hoops down there. And if you can't make it in person, if you're out of town, like some of you guys, watch it on the stream. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Swish League Pro-Am here at Sons of Montezuma YouTube. Guys, thank you again. We look forward to doing this again, Fiend. We'll have to drag K5 James or Mike Tortolot on here.
Let's do it. Welcome, Texas State.
Yes, sir. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you. Go Aztecs.
Peace. Go Aztecs.